Hi, friends. I had a rough month in February in my personal life, but here is something that I know. Every one of us has a pain point in our life. Everyone is battling something you know nothing about. I strongly believe that. And it's all relative, right? So it's not about saying, well, I'm not getting along with a family member right now, but at least I have family, or it could be worse, or money is really tight, but at least we have a roof over our head. No, I want you to acknowledge your pain point or points in your life and stop minimizing them. I actually want you to really feel them. Because here's the thing, you can try to tuck the pain away by minimizing it or pretending it's not there altogether, but your body will express what your mind is suppressing. The body expresses what the mind suppresses. That pain point is causing you to grab the unhealthy food choice when you're not even hungry, or maybe even keeping you from eating, keeping you up at night, stealing your energy. Yes, you'll actually feel more tired from the weight of it, affecting how you show up in your relationships. Have you ever met someone who just seems like they have a chip on their shoulder? Or ever snap at your husband and then think to yourself, why did I just do that? I guarantee you there's a pain point under there that you are suppressing. It's causing aches and pains in your body. Like, do you ever just feel your neck and your shoulders tight? Something is causing you to tense up like that. Something that you may or may not even be acknowledging. Digestive issues, yes, not fun to talk about, but stress will keep you running to the bathroom, my friend, give you that yucky bloated feeling. And your body will always find a way to express what your mind is trying to suppress. So I want you to acknowledge your pain points. I have mine from last month for sure. I closed out the month really feeling them too. We can't change what we don't acknowledge. And it wasn't until I confronted them that I could see the parts of them that I actually had control over. And that alone makes them a lot less stressful because it identifies the problem. If it can't be solved, then it's not a problem. Therefore, if you can't do something about it, then it's not a problem. That's just called life. But when we acknowledge the parts that you actually have control over, you uncover the problem. The good news is problems aren't permanent because they have solutions. Sometimes you may not like the solution, or it may be a solution that takes a long time, or it may be a solution that's going to force you some discomfort at first. It's still a solution to the problem. And if these pain points are going to affect my life in all of these different ways, I don't know about you, but I got to figure out what side effects I'm willing to accept. Here's what I know from my month of February. All of those pain points, I'm not willing to accept the way they make me feel. I'm not willing to accept that they are affecting the way that I show up as a mom and a friend and a light on social media and a leader in my business. February was not my shining moment. I am not willing to accept that version of myself. I don't care how long it takes to get on the other side of them, to find a solution that removes them from my life, how hard I have to work to get my life on another trajectory. I'm doing it. I see the solutions, and I am focused this month. I know what I need to do today. I know what I need to do this month to get me closer to those things. I actually wrote them down. Friends, write down your goals. I'm telling you because I love you and I want you to be happy. I want you to meet the best version of yourself. I want you to use up your gifts. Write down your goals. Something about pen to paper makes them real. Write them down every day, or write them down and stick them in a place where you can't avoid having to read them every single day. Your goal can be to create 100 more in income this month, if that's what it takes to change whatever your pain point is, or to communicate better with your spouse, or to spend less time around people you know are your energy vacuums or triggers that make you show up as a version of you that you don't want to be anymore. Or maybe it's to make better food and daily movement choices so that you feel better on the daily. Or to start saving $50 a week so that you can afford to take that much needed vacation. Or to start applying to 3 jobs per week to get out of the one that you hate. What can you control about the things you don't love about your life right now? I think sometimes, and I know this is the case for me at least, sometimes if I can't change it immediately, it makes me feel like I have no control at all. It's kind of like back to that immediate gratification need. If I can't resolve it right now, then it's hopeless. I'm hopeless. The situation is hopeless. I'm doomed to feel this pain forever. It sounds dramatic, but I know I'm not the only one who's felt that way. I sat in a job I was miserable in for far too long because I thought, well, if I can't immediately transfer to a job that pays me this exact income, then I'm stuck in this job forever. And it wasn't until I literally reached my breaking point, in ugly tears to my husband breaking point, that I was like, look, I knew he didn't care what I did as long as he didn't have to shell out extra money because of my choices. So at my breaking point, I had to get real with myself. Okay, Erica, what are you willing to sacrifice here? Because right now you are selling your happiness for a paycheck, and that's just no way to live. What can you control? I can't control the boss, the work, the environment, the job duties. I can control my exit, my way out, and what that way out will look like, and what I'm willing to sacrifice for it. I'm willing to sacrifice less shopping, less happy hours, brand names for store brands, less drive-through coffee stops in order to get my happiness back, in order to have the energy to show up as the mom that I want to be. Because my kids don't care what designer shoes I have on. They just want me to have the energy to want to play with them at the end of the day. The problem wasn't the job. It was that it wasn't the job for me. And I had to figure out a way to live off less to go be a beginner at something else. And once I identified the actual problem, I could identify the solutions and acknowledge that it may take a little time, but there's a way out. Is it worth the time it will take to resolve it? Is it worth the temporary sacrifices I'll have to make? Or do I want to live like this forever? And I think you know the answer to that now, because there would be no Elevate with Erica if I had decided to remain attached to that pain point in my life. But you don't need to wait until you get to that breaking point to make a change in your life for the better. You just need to acknowledge the things that are less than great in your life today. Figure out what's solvable, not how long they will take to solve. And then decide, do you want to feel the pain of those things forever, or do you want to begin the first step today to make this part of your life better in the future? The important thing to remember is that time is going to pass anyway. Time doesn't care what you decide. It'll leave you spending the rest of your years feeling the pain you do today. Spend the rest of your years saying, I shoulda. Or you can just start. The solution to your pain point may take 3 months, or it may take 3 years, or it may take 10 years. But you start crossing off that time the day you just begin. Begin a journey towards better. Your pain is temporary if you decide that it is. Your pain is permanent if you decide that it is. Are you really willing to sit in your pain points for the remaining years of your life, but not willing to sit in a little discomfort for a few months to create a better life? Your life, your choice. But I'm hoping you choose the one that lets you experience a better life for yourself. Imagine the you after you put in the work for better. What would it feel like? What would it look like? What would that version of you say to you today? Pen and paper, put yourself in those shoes and write a letter to yourself today. What would you say to yourself? I can't even do mine without tears. That's how I know it's worth the work. And 10 years from now, make sure that you can say that you chose your life. You didn't settle for it. Stop settling for your pain. Talk soon, friend. E.